Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. I don't know about you, but I'm guilty of reaching for a sweet treat on a stressful day. While there's nothing wrong with a little sugar in our diets, the challenge is it's hidden in so many foods that we don't even know about, often disguised on nutrition labels with 61 different names like sucrose or high-fructose corn syrup. That may be one reason why Americans eat nearly twice the recommended amount of sugar each day, and I know I'm probably guilty too. Carolina Impact's Danielle Koser shows us some ways to retrain our taste buds and cut back on that sweet stuff.
Some not so sweet news about sugar. Data shows Americans are eating too much of it.
I think they're alarmed to see how many grams of sugar are actually in products.
Sugar is hard to avoid, sneaking into some of our favorite treats and go-to snacks, like nutrition bars and yogurt.
Some are just as bad as ice cream, really.
Too much sweet stuff can lead to serious consequences.
If we're not utilizing all the sugar that we eat, that's where it leads to weight gain and obesity.
A registered dietitian, Michelle Ray, spends most of her day talking about food, teaching others the importance of loading up on the good stuff, lean proteins and veggies, and limiting things like fat, sodium, and sugar.
They just never think about it, and they don't know how the amount of sugar they intake impacts their health.
And she said, how about sodas? How many sodas do you drink? And I said, oh, maybe 1 or 2. And on the way home in the car, my husband said, you lied, you drink 8. And he was right, I probably drink 8 sodas a day.
Yup, you heard that right. 8 sodas a day used to be the norm for Terry Coobs. That changed when she learned 1 can of regular soda contains more sugar than she should eat in an entire day.
So that was a real, smack in your face, Terry. This is reality.
New federal dietary guidelines state no more than 10% of your daily calories should come from added sugars. Here's an easy way to calculate your added sugar budget. First, determine your total daily calories, then divide that number by 10. For a person on a 2,000 calorie diet, that's about 200 calories a day from added sugars. Divide that number by 4 to translate calories to grams.
In a 2,000 calorie intake, you can have 50 grams of sugar a day.
Divide by 4 again to convert grams to teaspoons. 50 grams of sugar equals about 12 teaspoons. Most people have an added sugar budget between 6 and 15 teaspoons a day, but data shows Americans eat about 20 teaspoons of sugar a day.
I don't want people to fear sugar. You've just got to eat it in moderation.
Natural sugars, the kind that already exist in your food, don't count toward your daily added sugar budget. Natural sugars come from fruit, veggies, milk, and plain yogurt. Here's the catch. Labels only show total sugar, added and natural. That's why it's important to read labels and recognize which key words are code for added sugars, like corn syrup, evaporated cane juice, and molasses. Yogurt, cereals, and canned goods often contain added sugars.
Everyone needs to read labels so that you know how many grams of sugar you're eating every day.
Coobs started changing her diet, swapping out sodas for water and finding ways to eat more vegetables.
I've learned to hide kale in salads and things like that.
She also makes it a priority to hit the gym a few times each week.
I sleep much better. I have a lot more energy.
I want that red velvet. I want that sugar sweet.
From the gym to the great outdoors, this is Tony Martin's happy place.
I have lots of energy, so when I get off from work, I go walking.
He used to be overweight, suffering from knee pain, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol.
We're trying to push his cholesterol medications even higher and higher, and yet it was not improving. So we finally kind of said, listen, you have to invest in this yourself. You have to make some changes with the way you eat and the way you exercise.
From then on, I said I got to do something. So I started watching what I eat, started exercising.
One of Dr. Elena Ebay's recommendations, cut back on sugar. Eventually, Martin lost 25 pounds by changing his diet and exercising. He's kept it off for 3 years.
When I actually see him make a change, that to me is like success.
I really can tell when I get up in the mornings, my body is just feel good.
Ray offers 3 quick tips to help break sugar cravings. 1. Fill up on water instead of sports drinks. 2. Try a bite-sized piece of dark chocolate if you're craving something sweet. 3. Have a piece of fruit with a glass of water when you'd normally reach for dessert.
We should stick to desserts no more than twice a week if we're at our kind of healthy ideal weight. If we're not, we might not be able to afford it as often.
I want my grandkids to know their grandma, so that's become important. That's why you get up and come here. That's why you check labels. That's why you do what you do.
Remember, when it comes to your diet, it all starts with you. And big changes can mean big rewards. For Coobs, it's the hope that a healthier her means more time with the grandkids. For Carolina Impact, I'm Danielle Koser reporting.
Thanks, Danielle. Changes coming to nutrition labels will make it easier to spot added sugars. Now, starting in 2018, the Food and Drug Administration will require food producers to include the amount of added sugars on products' labels. Joining me now is Kimberly Spatola, a registered dietitian with Novant Health's Bariatric Solutions, to talk more about why we need to decrease the amount of sugar in our diet. Kimberly, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I confess to being a fan of sugar, although I am trying very hard as I hit that interesting middle age range where what I used to eat and not add pounds these days are packing on the pounds. So I've got to find the hidden sugars everywhere, and I'm so glad that you brought some nice little treats to help us with. Let's start with a misconception. I thought granola was healthy.
Yes, and that is one item that a lot of people add to their breakfast because they perceive it to be a very healthy item. With the oats, with the slivered almonds, that can have a lot of times. However, there's also can be a lot of honey, maple syrup, molasses, corn syrup even, that's used to kind of combine it all together and make it really that sweet, crunchy flavor that you love from granola. And with that, a lot of calories can be contained in a very small portion size.
Yogurt, another breakfast staple for so many of us, and we think it's healthy.
Yes, especially when you go adding your granola on top of your yogurt. Any type of yogurt, whether it be regular or even the Greek yogurt, it can definitely have a lot of hidden sources of sugar with fruit juice concentrate, more sugar added from not only the fruits that are contained in it. Some brands of yogurt will actually have more sugar in it than the same serving size as a regular soda can. So it can add up very quickly.
Okay, next you've got all of my vices here. Probably ranch dressing. I have a salad, but I can enjoy that salad because of the ranch dressing.
Yeah, so whether it be ranch dressing, other creamy dressing, vinaigrettes, fat-free, low-fat dressing, most of them have a lot of hidden sources of sugar in it. Even for 2 tablespoons of dressing, which is a pretty small portion size.
Say not enough.
Yes, not always a whole lot. You can get 2 teaspoons of sugar in that small amount. So if you're eating a healthy salad, you're basically, with your dressing, just pouring on a couple teaspoons of sugar over top.
Next up, spaghetti sauce.
Spaghetti sauce, yes. Pasta sauce, tomato sauce. A lot of sugar can be added to that because it helps to counteract the acidity of the tomatoes. So really got to read your labels with this one. Ideally, make your own sauce from canned tomatoes, but otherwise just read your ingredients label to find one with no added sugar.
And we wrap things up. What do we have on the far end?
The last one is soup. So canned soups can actually have a lot of added sugar, and that's not something you would normally think about coming from a savory item having sugar added in. So, and actually for a 1/2 cup serving of soup, again, some soups can contain about 2 teaspoons of sugar, in which case you're probably going to have more soup than just a 1/2 cup serving size. So again, it's something that can really add up very quickly over the course of your day, where sugars are hidden in everyday food items.
And the real importance for us to be able to recognize these extra sugars is the fact that they lead to disease that can really just, wreak havoc on our lives.
Yes, definitely. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in Americans in the U.S. And sugar is a big factor in that. So really wanting to try to limit where sugars are coming from in your everyday diet can help to not have as many early onset of chronic diseases and help keep you looking young, healthy, and full of energy as well.
But they're just so darn sneaky because it's not just when we read the labels, it's not just sugar, high-fructose corn syrup that we're looking for, sucrose. I mean, there's 61 different names. That is just mind-boggling to have to really dig through and understand just as much. And you made a fabulous point about making our own spaghetti sauce. Not that I ever would.
Yeah, it's really not
We're
that hard. Yeah, it's just a matter of having the right ingredients kind of stashed in your pantry. Get some crushed tomatoes, add a little bit of tomato paste, put some garlic, some onions, some spices in there. To give it a little added sweetness, I like to chop up some carrots or some red bell pepper and saute that with the onion before you add the tomatoes in, and that really helps to counteract the acidity of the tomatoes, but without any added sugar. You're just getting sugar from natural food sources.
And natural is the key.
Natural is the key. The more whole natural foods, less processed, less added sugar you can get, the better off you will be and the healthier you will be in the long run.
Kimberly Spatola with Novon Health. Thank you so much for these great information. And now I've got to be extra careful. I'm throwing out my granola. I'm not even going to eat my yogurt anymore. And maybe I'll learn how to make some pasta sauce.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks so much for your information.
Thank you.